In this episode, I ogle over recent unlocks in the VAB. The Keriner 1 sets off for Eve, and Val ferries 6 passengers to the island airport. All this and more is coming up right now. We are off with the Keriner 1 on its way to Eve, and hopefully after that, on to Moho. Now again, I have been playing a little bit more with this launch script, particularly the inclination part of it. The inclination calculation was getting a little bit messed up because of how long it was taking to get to Apoapsis. And by the time it got to Apoapsis, it was significantly far away from either the ascending or the descending node, depending upon whether we were pitching north or south. And that means that the calculation it was doing to try and fix the inclination was based on the assumption that it was at either the ascending or the descending node, which it wasn't, and that's why it completely messed up the inclination last episode. Now we are shooting for the right inclination by the time we get to 40 kilometers. So we'll see how it does. Because at 40 kilometers, this thing's going to lock onto prograde, and it's not going to be fiddling with inclination anymore. We'll see how it does. But, let's see. This is still an old booster. I haven't gotten into modifying the booster. The new Palm has the Palm 1B. That will be picking up Jeb and Bill probably next episode, now that I'm thinking about it. It does have a new booster design for it that I think is more efficient. We'll see that next episode. This one's still an old booster. We should be losing those radial... Oh, no. Yeah, it just nerfed the thrust down to 0.9 thrust to weight ratio. But there go those radial boosters. We should be losing these flame effects soon too. What's our inclination at? Remember, 20.79 is what we're shooting for. It's alright. It's still increasing a little bit. It's close enough. I never expect it to be precise, but that's not bad. It shouldn't change too much as we increase now because... Oh, it hasn't locked the prograde yet. That's right. No, it should be increasing now. At 40 kilometers, it locks to prograde. And now our inclination's not going to change too much on the way up. But it's 20.5. That's not bad. Should be good. And again, the key to my new boosters that I think is going to make them more efficient is in this upper stage to use a much lighter engine than this. Put our lights go on automatically now by the new script. It also will handle aborts more cleanly. If instead of looking for a drop in thrust to see if there's an engine failure, because drops and thrusts can happen for all kinds of different reasons, it's looking for a deviation of its attitude from where its attitude should be. And if the deviation of its current attitude from what it should be is more than 5 degrees, it calls the abort. And it aborts differently depending upon where it is in the in its ascent. So right now, if an abort was called, it would simply just shut off the engines, and because you got time now to figure out what the heck is going on, especially if you got Kerbals aboard. But if the abort happened in the first 25 kilometers of the ascent, then it's going to do the abort action group, and if there's Kerbals involved, it's going to, activate the escape system and all that kind of stuff. Okay, this is going to keep burning until it's at 100 kilometers. We are about to be in space, even though we're still burning. I like this. There we go. Extending deployable equipment. Those are antennas. Turn the lights on too. Again, these are still my best antennas that I have. I need to work on that. Alright, we have reached our desired apoapsis, and we have a 4-second circularization burn coming up in like 4 minutes. The other thing I did too is I put a bit of a 30-second warning that comes up on the script here, which really helps because it doesn't burn exactly when this thinks it's supposed to burn. So there'll be a 30-second warning, and that tells me to stop the time warp. There we go. So 30 seconds warning, 20 seconds. Not quite on what this is, but that's okay. I don't know if I'm right or it's right, but it seems to work fine. 10 seconds. And then we'll get a 5-second countdown. There we go. And it also nerfs this thrust a lot more too. It used to be, it's about half the thrust of what it was doing before. Because I think at a lower thrust it does this more accurately. And yeah, not that great really. 95 by 100. Let's see if we can finish this off ourselves a little bit. There we go, that's better. Okay, so there's still 156 meters per second left in this booster. Do I have any? No, we'll disengage it. Okay, so this is done. Let's stage that booster. There we go. And we have some... Oh no, there we go. Was that really that long? That doesn't seem right. I don't know what went on there. That there was something weird. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. Let's put this on north. And let's take a look at our booster. This shouldn't be this long. I'm not sure what happened there. There are armed parachutes on it, so maybe I should make some effort to try and put it down near the KSC. But let's plan our ejection to Eve. This is our moment of truth. So the ejection should be happening around here. So add a maneuver right... Oh, add it at the equatorial descending node. Yeah, let's do that. And here's where future me has to pause things and explain what I am doing wrong. Something I didn't realize until right now while I was editing this video. I shouldn't be making my ejection burn at the equatorial descending node. I should be making it up here at the high point of my parking orbit around Kerbin, so that as the opposite side of that orbit gets pushed forward with my prograde burn, it will eject itself from Kerbin's SOI at the required negative 21 degrees or so inclination that I am supposed to have for my ejection inclination. Of course, that also means that that part of the orbit should be where the ejection angle is. So I launched at the wrong time. The orientation of this orbit is completely wrong. Imagine taking this orbit, keeping the inclination the same, and rotating it in a counterclockwise direction 90 degrees. That should be the way this thing should be set up. Instead, what I'm doing here is I am pushing, the equatorial ascending node on the opposite side straight out, so that it's still in the same equatorial plane of Kerbin. I'm not getting the inclination on ejection that I need. So, with the benefit of hindsight, upon putting in the amount of the burn, the result here wasn't too surprising. That don't look that great. Okay, let's close this. Okay, I think I'm coming. I think it's actually, well, I don't know. Let's start playing. Now note, the ejection angle is right. It's the inclination that's botched. And the phase angle's right. I am launching at more or less the right time. So actually, it didn't take too much playing around before... Oh, we're close. We're close. There we go. There's our encounter. So, when's this say? This says the burn's 3 days from now. Did I put... Nope, there's no alarm margin. So, I don't know. Close enough. Well, for Eve, sure, but... This was also supposed to then go on to Moho. This was the whole thing I was trying to set up. So I then got into putting in some extra burns out there to try and get a feel for, am I even going to come close to Moho? Well, the problem is, and I knew this was going to be the problem, it's the ejection angle from Eve. I think it's this ejection angle that's really wrong. So let's show that ejection angle. There it is. So we need to, oh my gosh, we're coming in here, but we got to go out that way. That ain't gonna work very easily, is it? Well, it's not gonna work at all, is it? But we can't let that deter us from trying. Oh my goodness, look how far apart these Moho encounter indicators are. Oh my gosh. You know what I think I'm gonna have to do? I think what I'm gonna have to do is... this isn't gonna work the way in which I hoped it was gonna work. I mean, that's just, I think, flat out. Unless I'll keep playing with it, but I really don't think it's going to. But what I think I'm gonna do is, well, first of all, let's delete that node and this node while we're at it. We're gonna delete that node. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use, here, like this. Here, let's actually keep that node for just a moment. I'm gonna use Eve to get myself an orbit with an ascending or descending node very close to, you know, so that I'm having an, you know, the orbits are touching each other about here. I can play with this and get those orbits to touch each other. That's easy enough. And then what we might end up having to do is just kind of ride around this once or twice or more. Maybe do some slight orbital tweaking, but I think what I need to do is get myself into an orbit like this and then play with it. So I can do that much. It might take me a little bit longer to get my encounter with Moho, but you know what? We got time. We'll let this go. And we'll be getting back to the Keriner later in this episode, but now let's get on to something that's going to be a little bit more closer to home. Alright, so this is purely a science endeavor. And I believe for the wing experiment, we just got to fly around. I don't think it is a low space thing. It does collect I got a scientist along, I think, for absolutely no reason. I don't think we even need to go anywhere. We'll find out. Let's just get up in the air and see how it goes. So this is the Wheesley Mark II. A slight improvement over the old Wheesley engine with just its, or Wheesley plane with its Wheesley engine at the back. The main improvement being that I've added in a crew cabin so we can now carry Kerbals without sticking them in those external command seats, which is, I don't know, a nice touch, I think. I guess we should get going. The plane already wants to go, so let's go. Our pilot today is Virbree Kerman. And also along for the ride, one of our newest recruits, Haidous, who is our most recent scientist. Okay, we're off. Now, we are running. And this is going to take 10 minutes to go. Okay, let's see this here. I like this little info bit of information. That's sweet. Okay, so we got to be flying low. Oh, it is a biome thing. Okay, so let's stick around the shores. Do a perimeter. Fly along the perimeter here. Don't need a lot of throttle. So we got to fly. Yeah, so it says flying low on the shores. I do not believe the wing works any other way. And it's now collecting. We've got to do this for about 10 minutes. So clearly this is going to be... and it collects samples too. So I think we got to shove the samples into here as they finish off. Oh, we can also look up here. Bop, bop. I got way too many windows being opened here. Let's get ourselves. Okay, Wheesley M1. That, yeah. And data. Though to be honest, I don't know if this is going to give me any more information than this is giving me. Max altitude is 6 kilometers. See, so you can't even get up that high. This is just what we're doing here, but this plane's kind of almost built for this kind of thing. Just around the KSC, we can do shores, we can do grasslands, highlands, mountains, and deserts. And I won't do it right now, but in the future, perhaps we'll go to the tundra and the... oh, batteries are... oh, I need more throttle. Oh boy. Alright. This thing uses up more electricity than this engine can generate. So there's an oversight. I didn't look at that. I always assume with jet engines... oh dear. So that's going to get this thing to stall out. No storage space. Okay, let's get back to the data view. Okay, so I didn't... Okay, this might need a slight... wrong button again. Too many buttons. So, oh, we did fill up the hard drive. Okay, so this is going to need better electricity generation and better hard drive generation. Okay, so this is... That's no disaster. Let's go back. Oh, I don't put an antenna. I can't even transmit. Oh my gosh. Alright, so this was ill-conceived from the get-go. So we're going to need better electricity generation and a bigger hard drive. We'll get back into the space plane hangar. We'll kit this thing out. We'll try her again. Let's edit Wheesley, see if we can sort this stuff out. So this uses up 2.8 electric charge per second. I guess it generates both data and mass. Alright, we'll put on an antenna, put on a bit of solar generation, maybe up the hard drive space a little bit. That should do her. That's going to take a few hours, so we'll save those edits. Here, let's save this entirely. Added plans too. And save the edits. Okay. Hang on. Did I just lose something? Where's my Wheesley? It should be in here just doing a couple of hours of updates, but it seems to have vanished. Well, that's a drag. Well, I guess I'll just have to rebuild the whole thing from scratch again, so that'll take a little while longer. Oh, okie dokie. And while I was in the mood for building things, I have updated a number of science nodes, and that got me thinking, I think it's time to build me another module for Kerbin Station. So I got started with that. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've been waiting for certain technologies to unlock so I can really improve Kerbin Station, not just build more of the same. One of the main ones I was looking for, of course, were scrubbers, which played Kerbin Station last episode when suddenly the scrubbers were mostly gone. The scrubbers came in now with the unlocking of the Mark 1 command pods. Really, this should be something that's unlocked almost from the very beginning, but my messed up tech tree and going from 1.7 to 1.8 recently, I think, is really responsible for this. But now I do have scrubbers unlocked, so I'm going to send those up. As well, I also have unlocked pressure control, another thing I should have had unlocked for a while. I think it's a little bit weird. I think the making history command pods that I've been using do have pressure control and scrubbers, but these hitchhiker cans didn't until now. Finally, these ones will. And I think that might be some of my issues that's been going along with EVAs as well, maybe, because technically I shouldn't be able to pressurize the capsules. They're technically, I think, Bill and Jeb, who are on Kerbin Station, are actually really in their spacesuits hooked up to the life support and are actually living for hundreds of days, or over 100 days now, living in a vacuum. I feel a little bad. That's not bad. I'm amazed they're not crawling out of their skins, but we'll get that all sorted out for them. So scrubbers, pressure control. Another thing that I've ironically had unlocked for a while, but should have been one of the later ones, is I do have water recyclers. In fact, I have a lot of water recyclers right now on Kerbin Station. What the water recyclers do is they take electric charge wastewater and use that to make fresh water, as well as a byproduct of CO2 and ammonia. And I want to start playing around with this, seeing how it works. But what I want to do is, obviously, I want to collect the water. I'm also going to collect the ammonia, but I also need to collect the wastewater. Right now, the wastewater is just being dumped into space. So I put on these containers to collect the wastewater and collect the resulting ammonia. The resulting CO2 I'll dump into space. If it becomes useful later, we'll find a use for it. And these little containers, they're coming from Kerbalism, and I like this. They've improved the containers quite a bit with the updated Kerbalism. A better variety of containers, as well as giving you the ability to color the containers, which is nice. So you can color code them, you know, I don't know, make them, the waste containers, different from the, you know, fresh foods, so they don't open the wrong one. So I'm going to put in that. thing they're all being stored into, by the way, here. This is a Universal Storage 2 part, so I'm taking advantage of that mod. Both mods work. I don't know. I want to try and do different things here. Another thing I've unlocked is the regular Clampatron, the full-size 1.25 meter Clampatron. So I definitely want to start putting these on here, and then I'll probably start updating my LKO ferries with these the bigger Clampatrons as well. And one final pair of parts I want to draw attention to. These are coming from Kerbal Attachment System. The older version of Kerbal Attachment System had these struts that are put on via EVAs by the Kerbals. They were great for taking structures like this one and stiffening them up a little bit, especially when they're connected just with wobbly docking ports. But they've gotten rid of those struts and instead replaced them with, well, two parts really that work together. One here is the PCB-1 portable cable bracing. So this is like a winch with a certain length of cable that's inside it that you can extend the cable from, again, via EVA with the Kerbals. But it needs to be hooked to a CH-1 cable hookup. So this is meant to be the other end of the cable, so you can construct kind of guy wires. So I want to bring these up there as well and kind of attach this on, make it nice and stiff and nice and firm, and that'll be a fun thing to do with the Kerbals that they'll EVA and put this all together. So I'm going to set up 3 pairs of these. So I'll send that up, see how it goes. Then it was just, you know, designing a little tug to push this thing into position, and of course I'm going to make a brand new booster to lift it up. I'm going to try and make new boosters for all of my launches now, start to update the boosters, try and making them more efficient, getting bigger masses up there more cheaply, and it doesn't hurt as well that I'm starting to, I finally also have unlocked bigger fairings, so I got 1.875 and 2.5 meter fairings. I really do got to start unlocking those bigger tanks and bigger engines too. But that'll be for later. Let's get back to the Keriner one. You know, everything about this just feels wrong. I think I looked at the instruction. I don't know if I still have the original. No, I don't. Well, I think I looked at the instructions all correctly, but I don't understand why I really needed this inclination. And if you take a look at what we're doing this really crazy swoop below the ecliptic. Let's move this out of the way. Really crazy, you know, swoop below the ecliptic before coming back up here and encountering Eve. Not sure why. Even if you take a look at the direction we're burning, then again, this has to maybe do with the timing. I mean, usually when I'm not going at the optimal time, I guess that's what that's about. But usually you want to head off this direction if you're going inward towards the more inward planets. But we're kind of shooting off almost radially to Kerbin's prograde direction. Very, very, very weird. Oh, and I can see as per normal. My script seems to think this burn's going to take shorter than... Well, let's see. We are... Oh, it's about to go. It started about 18 seconds later than what the game thinks it should have started at. I don't know. It seems like a lot. Either the game's wrong or I'm very wrong. I'm really, I don't know, maybe I need to get back in there and take a look at the math a bit. I thought I had it right, but... You know what's a great thing they added into Kerbalism? I mean, you saw me playing with it a little bit last episode, but if you go here to the automation feature, it shows all the devices that you currently have and what state they are in. So it's great for just checking to make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But also, I think we just left Kerbin's SOI, or Apoapsis did, yep. But also, it allows you to actually change these. Like, I'll do something that's lame. Like, for instance, I could, if I wanted to, retract this antenna from here, and there it goes. Right, that's inconsequent. We'll put this back again. Now it's retracted, now it's deploying. So it's great not only to check to see that everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it's also great you don't have to sit here right-clicking on parts all the time. You can control them all from here. Let's check how things are going out here in interplanetary base. So here's our orange trajectory. It's closing in on what that red one's supposed to be, I suppose. No, the purple one. The red ones are predicted after we encounter. Oh, it's slowing it down. I think it probably isn't. No, I think it's ending a little premature. Okay, let's burn a little further. Oh, gotta get control back. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Shoot. No. Oh, wait. That is pushing them closer. Now they're going further. Really? Ugh. I really wasn't satisfied with this. There's clearly something not quite right with my maneuver executor. I mean, it seemed to be fine for shorter burns, but for this kind of long burn, it really doesn't seem to be performing very well. And rather than wrap my head around what was going wrong, I just said, screw it, I reverted, and I just did the burn by hand. And although this, with the addition of a small correction burn mid-course, got me the even counter that I wanted, it still didn't sit right with me. After I finished this particular playthrough, it was still gnawing at me. What's up with my maneuver executing script? There's gotta be something wrong with the math. And then I looked at it and I realized, oh my gosh, I see what the problem is. I made an assumption in my script that as the vessel was using up mass, it would of course be increasing in acceleration, and my assumption was that that acceleration increase would be at a constant rate. And I based that on the fact that I know that the engines do use up propellant at a constant rate as long as you keep the throttle the same. So I figured, okay, well that means it's going to accelerate at a constant rate. But force equals mass times acceleration. A little bit of rearrangement for acceleration gets me that the mass is on the bottom of that fraction. That's not linear. That is very much a curved line. The acceleration isn't going to go up in a straight line. That was my mistake. And once I fixed that, well, a little bit of you know what? Here's the short of it. This is the equation I got for calculating the burn time. If you like it, there it is. It's for you. You know what? I'll make some future math video that will go over where this is coming from. It really is just a glorified rearrangement of the rocket equation. But anyway, with that in play, I reverted once again and thought I would do this with the script just to make, I want this thing to work. So now that I've got in the modifications, check this out. As this counts down, now it's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. It is almost bang on. And I think there's a slight difference in the calculation of the burn time. I'm not quite sure why, but it's very, very close. Also, because this thing is designed to reduce the throttle, I actually add on, I actually start an extra second early, so I think that kind of factors into it too, but pretty happy with that. Okay, we're reducing throttle. Supposed to be a closest approach of 518. Mega meters, I suppose that is. Oh, and burn is complete. I left the burn in there. Now let's take this out. That's actually a closer separation, but you know, I think I'll do. I think this is really, really close, but I got a feeling I can probably tweak this. You know, I think best served. I'm gonna leave well enough alone. I think we're pretty close. What I think I'll do, I'm hoping just a tiny little correction burn. Once one's left Kerbin's SOI, I'm hoping we'll fix all this up. Okay, we're going to be out of Kerbin's sphere of influence in just a day. We are trucking it. But in the meantime, I do have another mission for us. Alright, and we're back with the Flight 120B. You saw this last episode with taking 5 tourists to the desert airfield. This time it is... Whoa, gosh. Get control of this. Can't talk and fly at the same time. This time it's 6 tourists. See, now they're mostly guys. One girl in the middle of all that. This time we're just going over to the island airfield, so quite a bit simpler in actuality, and it's nice that, whoa, it is very nice that the same plane will work. So we need, this time it's 6 people instead of 5, and our pilot here is Valentina. Oh. Island ATC, Keska 101, we have you on approach. You are cleared to land on the island airfield 01. Winds 340 at 5 to 10. I think that's what the winds were last time. Winds are always the same. Actually, I had a couple of people mentioning or explaining to me the runway number system. So sort of joking about the fact why we need a runway number when the KSC only has 1 runway. But someone is explaining that 09er is actually a reference to the direction that you are to take off in. So if you're flying in an eastward direction, you are on runway 09er because 90 is east. And you can go on the same runway and actually do, I think it was told to me, 027 is the... going just the same runway but the opposite direction. Did not know that. Always new things to learn. Alright. Down. Lined up here particularly well. Now this runway is shorter, so going kind of fast. Oh, I don't have it on chase either. I can see that. Part of my issue. Whoa, cheapers, creepers. I'll get down. Oh, we're gonna run out of runway. Come on. Shoot. Okay, just throttle. Oh my gosh. I think we need to try that again. Okay. View, chase. There we go. I'm going to blame that on not having the chase camera on. I find it hard to judge the height of it because it's up on a bit of a hill. There we go. Come on. Down we go. Down. Brakes. Alright, we're here. Did the authority things change on this? It just feels like these are really... Yeah, let's turn that down too. Alright. We're supposed to wait here, yep, for everyone to disembark. And then we're going to vamoose again. We should be getting another message, I'm pretty sure. Okay, 10 seconds. Five. And 0. Blink. There we go. Now we gotta wait another 5 seconds to get clearance to take off. Island ATC Keska 101, you are cleared to the Space Center Airport via Kerman departure flight plan. Depart the island airfield heading 090, squawk 016. Don't know if I needed the squawk, but that's okay. Okay, I'm actually going to turn around. I don't want to fool around with this. Actually, I guess 09er is telling... Oh, no, it's not telling me to turn around. 09er is the way we're pointing. Well, screw you, air traffic control. We're going to turn around. Alright, punch it. Let's go. A little Bit of grass here. I hope that's... No, it's not bumped. Okay, yeah, this thing takes a bit to get up. Oh my gosh. Up, 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 up. There we go. We made it. I do like these contracts. It gives me a reason to build like planes like this. I mean, I see people building things like, you know, jumbo jets and the like. This isn't nearly as big as you can get. I mean, these are only the Wheesley engines. They're much, much bigger engines than those. And I'm assuming that's where you're working to, just getting bigger and bigger planes. I'm kind of very curious where this ends up. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. There we go. And brake. Whoa, the steering is so twitchy. Was it not twitchy before? I don't remember it being that twitchy before. Let's just brake. Boink. And then all we got to do is recover. This mission's complete. Then we're ready to be exiting Kerbin's sphere of influence. And boom, we are now orbiting the sun. Our second object to be orbiting the sun, the Duna 1 being obviously our first one from a while ago. There it is there on its way to Duna. We will almost certainly be seeing him next episode. But actually, while we're out here, are we getting Keriner? Data. Yeah, we're doing a radiation scan. This is the Sun Global again. This is the change to that Geiger counter. If we go to the science one, we can see this much better. Just looking at our current vessel, we have a radiation scan, and we're about the sun, and we're doing a global scan. Still another 35 science to be collected here, but that'll all just get transmitted, so that's awesome. No magnetic field about the sun, so that's just that. Alright, let's see if we cannot tweak our encounter with Eve a little bit. So again, we're going to focus on that probably in around here-ish. We'll put our maneuver. I'm hoping this won't take too much. Let's see here. What do I do in normal? Oh, that's it. I just did a little bit of normal correction and we are there. Now what I would like is to continue to tweak that encounter with Eve so that my periapsis will be down by Moho's orbit. I'm pretty good with that. I'm gonna leave it like that. We're in a bit of an incline, but we're getting like we're not encountering Mo, but we should be able to tweak this resulting trajectory to get ourselves a Moho encounter. Maybe we can come around and hit Eve again. I don't know. But that will clearly be for quite a ways in the future. What's that? 101 days from now. Let's get to the Kerpollo. 36 credits. It's almost 40 credits from the sun. What's that put our science up to? Of course, we got a ton of science. Oh, 98.8. I think I can get myself another node out of that. Of course, these guys have quite a lot of science locked up in samples. Do not know where we're coming down. I really wasn't paying too much attention. Actually, hang on. Let's stage. Arm the parachutes. And SAS doesn't mean anything because there are no reaction wheels in there. It has been a long and winding road for our Kerpollo missions, especially Madby, who was on all 4 of them. We'll have to give her a nice long break. And there is almost 200 science here. So that will be a nice thing to add to our science coffers. And down. Alright, we did it. Almost all science objectives met. Normal recovery. Alright. There we go. I like the way now. Put this. See how it separates the two. So this is I think this is Kerbal construction. Maybe. Oh, maybe this is Kerbalism. separating it here, because I've had some issues with science disappearing, as you've probably noticed, so I suspect this is there to deal with that. But there we go. Total now of 299.1 science. And, oh, Madby's now up to level 3. I think that's my highest rating Kerbals. Other two are now to level 2. Well done. Well, we got to spend this science, but you know what? I think that's going to have to be for next episode. Lots of other things coming up next episode. Again, energy is going to be put more towards our interplanetary probes. We'll certainly be seeing our Duna probe. We've got to get Jeb and Bill back down from Kerbin Station as well as other things that I'll squeeze in between. But in the meantime, I thank you for watching and hope to see you then.